Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That is Tyler.
What it is, sir.
How are you?
Doing good, man. We're back in the studio. How about that?
I know. How about that? After a long week and interesting Wednesday. So, Daniel, can I comment on the On3 and Rivals merger?
Didn't take long.
I really can't. I mean, I really can't. There's just
That'll get two in.
Yeah,
there you go.
They played well today. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I could.
As your friend and
I mean the merger,
legal counsel, I would advise you not to.
Yeah, the merger itself, sure, I can comment on it. On3 has purchased the majority share of Rivals, and it's a deal that's going to be finalized reportedly by the end of June. And at that point, Shannon Terry, who runs On3, has indicated on social media that he's going to let the two sites coexist, with Rivals being recruiting based and high school based, and with On3 being the more team site / portal stuff. That's how they plan to run it. So yeah, that's kind of the extent of that. It's just a business acquisition. Shannon has formed Rivals, then sold it, and kind of has come full circle and repurchased it, at least the majority share of it. My understanding from what I've read, I've not talked to anyone at Yahoo. I've not talked to anyone at Rivals. My understanding is that Yahoo will still have a seat at the table, but it will not be a majority seat.
Sounds good. Yeah, I know nothing.
And so there's my comment, which is really not a comment. Just pretty much everything that I know is based on what I have, what I've seen on social media posted by Shannon Terry and from an internal email that we got from Rivals.
Yeah. Sounds good. Doesn't affect me. And then so I was like, yeah, I got asked 87 times yesterday. 87 times.
The one thing I will say on the record, because I get this question a lot, so I'll go ahead and answer it. What does this mean for MPW Digital? It means nothing for MPW Digital. It means absolutely nothing. It has like no impact, positively, negatively, at all on MPW Digital. MPW Digital is an entirely separate entity. It has no affiliation with Rivals. Rivals and Yahoo, this is not a negative. This is not a criticism. They have never invested a cent in, not one penny in MPW Digital. They have never attempted at all to have any editorial influence over anything that we did or did not do at MPW Digital. We have been completely separate partners. That doesn't change. MPW Digital is a completely 100% separate entity. It has no tie at all to Rivals or Yahoo. So Rivals being purchased by another company does not change that at all. It doesn't make it better for MPW Digital. It doesn't make it worse for MPW Digital. It literally it does not even have the impact of a pebble falling into the ocean.
Yeah, like I said, I got a bunch of calls and texts, and people actually in person asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know nothing about it. I know nothing. I plead the fifth. I know nothing.
Okay.
I gave a lot of I felt like I was back at Ole Miss again, getting interrogated. I do not recall. I don't recall hearing anything about that. I do not recall hearing anything. What's Neal in chat? I do not recall.
Well, given that.
What's Neal? I do not. As soon as I heard what's Neal, I do not recall.
Given that this show is on MPW Digital, it doesn't impact your situation whatsoever.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No. It may affect my subscription price though. Might have to reinvestigate that.
I just don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know anything about what.
Had to do some investigation.
I don't know anything at all about any plans that anyone at On3 has for subscriptions, how they plan to do that. I don't. Honest to God, don't have any idea.
Yeah, I do not recall.
It's not a. No one there will ask my opinion. I feel quite confident in saying that no one there will ask my opinion about pricing or anything.
You like when people ask you questions and you say you don't know, and they keep asking you questions like you're going to change your mind and tell them everything you know?
Oh, on this I don't know.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
like in general. Not about this, in general.
Yeah.
I was getting interrogated yesterday like I knew things,
Yeah.
and I was like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Got nothing for you. Only thing I'm curious about is as a paying subscriber is my price going to go up? You know, $8.33 a month. You know,
I don't know.
I don't know if I can go to $9. I got kids going to college and shit. You know what I mean?
Yes. I've got one out of college, one who gets out of college in a week, and then one that's about to start college. So I'm well aware of the price of college.
That's it. Let's crank her up, dog.
Okay. I really should have brought a water up. I just didn't do it.
It's okay. You're going to be excited when the Cubs get 2 more outs.
Welcome into episode 280 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you are all
May the
well.
1st.
It is May the 1st. May the 1st. Happy birthday to my daughter, Campbell.
Happy birthday, Kimball.
Happy birthday to my Labrador Retriever, Gus.
Gus, the man. He didn't greet me today.
I think he's outside.
I was going to say, he didn't greet me today.
Outside enjoying a fairly pleasant day. I haven't been outside much. This is my 3rd podcast of the day, and I've been inundated with phone calls.
About what?
I've done some work. I have done some recruiting stuff today. So I've been.
I'm sorry.
It's been a busy day. I haven't been out. I'm hoping to get out and get a walk before I do my final podcast of the day this evening.
What was the 3rd one you had?
Mind on My Money.
Okay.
Presented by Argent Wealth. That's up at mpwdigital.com.
Lots of tariff discussions.
We actually talked about Elon a little bit. Tesla. We didn't really care if talked about how the markets, if you just ride the market, you're good.
How about that? Just ride.
We are brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, and 0 electrolytes, 0 sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, I'm rolling with the tropical today. It's been a minute. I came back to the tropical today. It felt it's feeling a little tropical outside. We're in the 80s. It's like we're in that mode where it's like
Is it warm today?
It's beautiful. Beautiful day. City Commerce Day here in Oxford, Mississippi. Probably about low 80s. Not a breath of wind.
Sing the song.
Beautiful day.
Sing the song.
Cubs dub. Let's go. But rolling with the tropical. Shout out to Bob. Hope everything's going well. I sent a tweet out yesterday. Speaking of Bob, shout out to our good friend Bob Bucrato from Monster Energy.
Yep.
His single season home run record at Northwestern was broken yesterday.
Saw that.
So he wanted to make everybody know that he's still the single season home run leader from the right side. The other guy's a lefty. So Bob's going to hold on to that.
He held on to that record for a while.
38 years.
38 years.
Bob held that.
It's a long time to hold a record.
He could crush it. But Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and you can get truck savings all month long here in Chevy and with Chevy and GMC trucks at Cooper Chevrolet, GMC Hyundai. You can take over $14,000 off MSRP on the brand new Silverado pickups, or you can get financing as low as 2.9% APR for 72 months. At Cooper Hyundai, you can get as low as 3.99 APR on the Hyundai Elantra, the Tucson, the Santa Fe, or up to $2,000 in bonus cash right now through April 30th. Give them a call at area code 256-236-4481. We're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready Siskey, County Line Campers. Are you ready for Memorial Day weekend adventure? That's right. The road trip you've always been waiting for to take begins right now at County Line Campers in Gulfport, Mississippi. You can explore our massive selection of best brands of RVs and small cozy campers to luxury motorhomes. You can get unbeatable deals, flexible financing on free orientation with every purchase. Our team of experts are here to guide you.
I'm going to get a water while you do this.
Sounds good. Our team of experts are here to guide you every mile of the way. When you purchase from County Line, you will get full transparency every step of the way and no hidden fees ever. Check this out. This month, all McCready and Siskey listeners will receive a free weight distribution hitch with the purchase of any new travel trailer. So make sure when you go there, make sure you mention McCready and Siskey. They'll hook you up with a free weight distribution hitch. But wait, there's more. And this is really cool. This is what I love about our friend Rob and Miss Destiny down at County Line Campers. Any member of the armed forces, both active and retired, or first responders, will receive an additional $500 off any new pre-loved RV purchase. Right now, make sure you go to exit 38 right off I-10, or you can visit their website at countylinecampers.com, and make sure you follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the deals and Miss Destiny's walkthrough videos. When you think about camping, think about County Line Campers. How about that? That was good timing right there, man. My man went and got a water right when I finished the reader. We're rocking and rolling. Let's go. How about that?
I wasn't going to make it through an hour without some water, so it was just
you got to hydrate, dog.
It was going to be difficult.
Got to hydrate.
Kind of losing my voice a little bit.
All right. You know where I'm starting this, your favorite topic. I got a couple of questions for you here. All right, so last night Lakers losing 5 to the Timberwolves.
Yep.
Lot of Vegas. Vegas made a lot of money last 5 games. But here's really the question out of it is, do you think that was the last we see LeBron James in a NBA basketball uniform? 40 years old. He's still averaging 24.4 and 35 minutes a game. So there hasn't been really, if you look, career numbers wise, not a drop off.
No. I would guess it was not his final game. I would guess he plans to return to LA for another season.
I mean, do you think he waits till the drop off? I mean, he's taking great care of his body.
Yeah, he's still a very good player.
Played in 70-plus games, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, he's taking great care of his body. He's still a very good player. He's not an elite player anymore, but he's very good. Here's the thing, right? Does he want to play because he wants to play, which is his prerogative? He can make a lot of money. Does he want to play because he wants to continue to make more money, which is perfectly understandable? Does he want to play because it's all he knows, which applies to many athletes? It's not a knock on him. Does he want to play because he wants another year with his son, who showed some flashes here and there and could easily be on the Lakers team? Possible. Does he want to play because he wants to win another title? Because if that's the case, it's not happening in Los Angeles. It's not happening in Los Angeles. And the people that do the Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff to LA, the Lakers don't have the goods to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I mean, where do they go? I mean, you'd have to get rid of Luka probably, right?
No, I mean, you'd start with Austin Reeves. You would have to include Dalton Connect. You would probably have to include Jared Vanderbilt. You would have to include every pick that the Lakers have in their arsenal that they would be allowed to trade. And even then, it wouldn't be close to what the packages that other teams could put together. If Philadelphia decided it wanted to make a package for Giannis, if Houston, who I think would be the favorite, decided they wanted to put together a package for Giannis, the Lakers can't match that. And so I don't think that happens. And the package that Utah could put together for Giannis, I don't think it happens. And even in that world where you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James at age 41 on the same team, and you have no depth. Look at what killed the Lakers in this series was they got gassed. They weren't big enough. They didn't have rim protectors. I don't think it makes sense. So I think LeBron can either continue to play on the Lakers and play. I mean, his legacy is complete. Or he can ask to move to another team. I mean, I think he's a free agent at the end of the year. I think his contract expires.
That's my thing is, look, I'm not a LeBron fan. I don't dislike him, but it doesn't move the needle for me.
And see, let me interrupt for a second. Hefty Lefty says Giannis to the Thunder. Yeah, the Thunder have the assets to trade for anyone. But the part that the Thunder have done that people don't acknowledge because they don't keep up with the NBA, it's not a criticism, it's cool, it's no big deal, is they have positioned themselves to be able to give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the max, to give Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams the big contracts, to go to the next apron, but to stay under the second apron and have a bunch of affordable deals. And they have this plethora of middle-sized contracts that are easily traded. And they have all of these picks that they can use for players on rookie scale deals. Trading for Giannis takes their window.
It actually closes a little bit.
And closes it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. They can't pay 4 people. So who are you trading for Giannis if you're the Thunder? Are you trading Jalen Williams in a package? No. Chet Holmgren? Absolutely not. No, the Thunder trading for Giannis doesn't make sense.
I just don't want – my whole thing with LeBron, though, is I just – hopefully he never gets this. I don't like seeing – I would almost respect the guy if he went out on top. Like, when you look at his numbers, it is the lowest he's been, maybe except for 1 year, but he's still right there at it. It's 24-4. His 25 or 26 a couple of years. I don't want to see the guy fall off to where he's a 15-10, where you see this big decline because Father Time's undefeated. I would rather him go out. I mean, he played 17 years. I'd like to see him go out on top, but I just hate seeing like what MJ did with the Wizards and all, you know what I mean? Like I just, and then competitiveness is a real thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't want to see the guy. I'm not a fan, but I also don't want to see him go out fading away, going out just where he's too old to play. But that's just me.
Well, this year, after they traded Anthony Davis in that Luka Doncic trade, they asked him to be something that was very difficult for him to do, and he played. I thought he played well. I didn't think he was the reason they lost last night. I mean, listen, let's be fair, and we'll move on from NBA because I know people get mad about it.
What's our show? Do what the hell we want to do.
Somewhere last night, probably in the state of Texas, Nico Harrison sat back and kicked his feet up and went, huh.
I don't know.
Huh.
He may have. I don't know if anybody's still agreeing with him.
No. But his point was, if you believe that you have to play elite defense in this NBA to win a title, and I do, for the record, I do.
Yeah.
You look at the teams that are the most likely to win a title this year, metrically, and they all are elite defensive teams. And he'll point at Luka Doncic and say he can't defend. And the Timberwolves hunted him last night. They hunted him in this series, and when they got him, they attacked him.
Yeah, no, and it's
they set screens and moved the ball to get matchups that were specifically designed to take one of their players against Luka Doncic. That was their attack, and it worked all game.
Yep. All right, shifting gears to football. The Houston, I don't know if you saw this or not. The Houston Chronicle reported that Texas will spend between $35 and $40 million on their 2025 football roster. That's a lot of money. I think when you read the article, the way the guy describes it, he threw in the 20.5 rev shares being a part of that number. They're not going to actually be at 20.5 from a rev share standpoint. They'll be a little less, but still, I mean, if he says 35, 40, I would probably say I would knock it down 10, say 25, 30.
This was Kirk Bowles that wrote this, right?
Yes.
I mean, look.
But you still can't spend $20.5 million. All of your rev share is not going to football.
Right.
So that part is going to be knocked down a little bit.
I guess my point is if Kirk Bowles is reporting that the Texas football roster is 35 to 40, I'm going to bet it's at least 35.
Well, no, what I'm saying is he said in his article that the
Okay.
20.5 was
Okay.
a part of that.
So you can mark off 3 or 4 million.
At least. I'm going to say probably realistically probably 25 to 30. I'd probably knock off 10 of that.
All right.
Not even 10, probably 7. So we'd say 28 to 33.
Okay.
But look, this is not anything really new. There's a lot of football teams that are spending a lot of money and front loading deals. We've talked about this in the past with this house settlement looming, whatever it's going to be, preparation for that, planning for that. So it's definitely front loaded. Interesting enough, and this kind of fits with that, is the article reported that the school plans to phase out its collective in favor of rev share via the house settlement. Okay, so I know of a lot of schools that are doing this. They are basically absorbing, assuming the house settlement goes through, which I think it will now. They're absorbing the collective to kind of take up some of the more like a fundraising thing to take up some of the absorption of the rev share. Basically playing a shell game with money, moving it in there, and then this is probably of note. I thought this was really cool. Not really cool, but I just thought this was interesting because they're going back-to-back quarterbacks. So Quinn Ewers didn't take a lot of money. He took a very small amount from Texas, but like very small. Most of Quinn Ewers' money came from actual like real NIL.
Mm-hmm.
And that Arch Manning is taking zero, has never taken a dime from the school.
I've heard as much.
Okay,
Yeah.
Everything, which understandably is,
yeah,
I'm not arguing. That's probably fair. But that also allows, that's big because you're taking your number one expense for most schools and you're able to buy other players.
And so if you include the number I've heard for Arch in this number as to what the roster is actually getting, it's a number that really nobody else nationally can compete with.
Yeah, I don't even think he's counting Arch's number.
I don't either. And I think this would you say you took 7 or 8 off?
I'll take 7 off, to be fair.
Okay, I'll put 7 plus some change back in.
Oh, yeah.
I think Arch is making 10-ish.
Easy, probably. From actual, but that's real NIL, like what it was designed for, not pay for play. Arch is getting $0 for pay for play. He's getting actual NIL, like what it was, the rules are designed for. I know that's hard for people people probably don't know what that is now. They're like, huh? What is real NIL as opposed to what the collectives are doing? But that allows you to buy a lot of other players when you can save, because they would have to pay him. I mean, if he didn't get NIL, he would have to get a nice change, a nice bit of change. But I think Texas one was able to maintain the guys that they wanted to maintain, keep on their roster, and they've added 10 or 11 guys, and they got a couple more coming. And these guys aren't cheap, but front loading the deals, you got to be careful in front loading. You got to be very careful. I know a lot of teams that are doing this to try to escape the salary cap. Got to be very careful to make sure you're doing it with the right guys. You can't just front load. Like Nico's not a guy you want to front load. You want these guys that are high risk guys that you better make sure that you're protected on the back end on those deals. The other thing here, which was very interesting for me, you may not give a shit. But the other thing here is when you look at what Texas is able to do through getting that kind of money for that kind of roster, and you're able to maintain your guys, it allows you to develop your guys, and so they're able to develop that. And that if that was the case, if you're able, if burn matches, if this rev share thing goes way the woolly mammoth, and they're able to do this, Texas is going to be one of very few teams that will be able to maintain roster and develop players. And that will create benefits year after year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And if that were the case, and we were staying some kind of model like this for a long time, Texas would probably over the next few years kind of separate itself and being one of the, I'd say, 3 to 4 that could do this year after year and develop players.
I said this morning on Blue Sky Live, which also airs on MPW Digital, which, again, is a completely independent entity.
Tip the hat.
Thank you. I talked to someone a few years ago when this got started, someone very influential in college athletics circles. And he said, in this model, 3 schools possess the ability to distance themselves from everyone else if they decide they want to.
2 Texas, 1 California.
Yep. Texas, Texas A&M, and USC.
I would actually add one more that I wasn't aware of back then. I would actually add 2 more.
Okay.
And that I wasn't aware of back then.
Okay.
That I think now is Ohio State and Michigan.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they are committed enough to do it.
My point was that
there's not many.
Yeah, my point was that Texas is one of a very small handful of schools that possess the ability in an environment that is completely unregulated. And people go, well, they always didn't. No, Texas has a lot of people around their program that are not going to give underhanded buckets full of cash, who will absolutely do it in a legal environment.
Yeah.
Where you get applauded, where you get patted on the back. There's a big difference. I mean, 7 years ago, if you gave $100,000 to help buy a player and you got caught, you were the guy that brought the program to its knees. You were a pariah. You had to hide. Now, if you give $100,000, everyone pats you on the back and goes, man, thanks for helping the Horns.
Yeah. No.
Big damn difference. The big difference. Because look, if you're giving to intercollegiate athletics NIL, you're not getting return on your investment.
No.
You're doing this because you love the school and you love the attention that you get from making the gift. You're not giving your hard-earned money underhanded, no recognition to something that has no return.
Correct.
Now you get that's where we're headed. It's where we are.
The other thing I thought this article is very interesting. They talked about, and which I brought up several weeks ago actually, but they are planning. It's very apparent through the article, and I trust it. I mean, the guy's Houston Chronicle. I'm sure he's got people he can talk to.
Well, I mean, Texas, I can tell you, Kirk is incredibly connected after all these years.
Yeah, and so one thing that absorbing the collective, which we've talked about, but the other thing is that look, if this they are planning for the rev share thing to go through. If it does go through, there is going to be a market reset to the point to where a year from now you can't pay. You're not going to be able. There's going to be a quote unquote cap or whatever we're talking about for however long that exists. There's going to be a natural reset in the market, and they talk about that in the article, which I thought was interesting.
Boy, it's going to be interesting to see the reaction from players when they're told, "Hey, there's a pay cut."
I'm curious.
I mean, I'm fascinated. I'm totally serious.
I am too. I'm curious.
Yeah, I am fascinated because most people in any walk of life do not handle pay cuts well.
No.
Like when you're negotiating a contract, you don't say, just give me less.
Yeah, Texas is a place that I think will invest in basketball.
Well, they're going to invest in everything.
And they're going to invest in baseball. I'm talking about when they call rev share. So if we say 20.5 is the total number of the athletic department, football's not getting 20.5.
No, they'll invest in everything in the big three for sure.
So let's call it 16. Let's say they go super aggressive and call it 16.
All right.
Well, if you go from a payroll of 35, whatever we want to say it is, to 16, somebody getting cut.
Well, no, everyone's getting cut.
Yeah, right. So
everyone's getting cut.
I'm interested.
I'm fascinated to see how that works because these kids are surrounded by idiots for the most part.
Yes.
I mean, I know there's some exceptions.
There's definitely exceptions.
But as a whole, the people that are advising these kids are morons. And I don't know that they're smart enough to explain to their clients, who often are their nephews, that, hey,
at their family
God,
reunion.
I'm in a moment, aren't I? I'm having a day.
It's just funny.
I don't know that they possess the ability to explain. So see, here's what's happened.
Yeah.
There's a house settlement. The market's gone down. We have to adjust to this. I think they're going to be I'm holding out for more money, and I think it's going to get weird. I really do. Now, I don't believe the house settlement, once it goes into effect, I think it lives about as long as a cold beer at a frat house. I mean, I just don't think it makes it long.
Yeah.
But for the amount of time that it does, the market's going to have to regulate. I don't think it lasts long.
You're also, and look, I'll say this to kind of back up your prognosis, your Nostradamus over there. There are teams that are doing what Texas is doing. Now, not to this extent, but a lot. I mean, not to Texas' extent. I know someone who's planning to do 27.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so getting close. We're getting in the territory.
Yeah.
There are teams that are trying to front load this cap, right? And then I asked the question to the team, to the guy, to the GM. I said, okay. I said, talk to me through 2020, the next year's team when you got to. Hey,
When you're putting together the 2026 team.
We got to put together. Well, there is technically a way to get through 2026 as well.
So 2027.
It would be a slight do it, but there's a way to do that.
Okay.
I said, talk me through when you have to tell these kids that they're taking a pay cut. His exact words was, have you watched the NCAA lately? I said, yeah. He says, well, I'm banking that in 2 years this won't be in place. We'll be in something, some other structure that this will not affect us in 2 years. So there are teams that are actually roster building based on, I'm just telling you, it ain't going to be the same thing. It'll be something different. That's happening. And you got some people playing by the book, some people that are I don't even call it a gamble. I call it like an educated guess.
I'm with them.
That things are going to change.
That's what I think too. I don't. Not to get into the whole topic. I don't know how. I don't know how they get into collective bargaining and all of those things. I don't. No one has been able to explain that to me yet. And in fact, someone who I know who has listened to me and others said that I'm basically right, that if there was a way to do it, they already would have done it. Maybe they'll come across a new way, but as of today, they don't have a way.
They're not there yet. All right, speaking of, no match burning news yet. Okay, no match burning news yet. But schools are working on a plan to phase in and grandfather in roster cuts to meet the demands of the judge. I guess they're going to meet next. She told them 14 days. We should be in that next week.
Sometime next week.
But they are working on a plan to phase in roster cuts and how that looks like. There seems to be a lot of questions, even from the schools to people, a lot of questions about how to do that, what's it look like.
A lot of schools have already made the cuts.
They're talking about there's a lot of questions, right, with not a lot of answers. So
it's a lot of conversations to reverse.
Yes, a lot of conversations to reverse.
It's difficult to do.
But they're trying to do that. And then here's the other thing, okay, and I this is the problem with phasing in. The problem without bringing those kids back is now you're adding like right, wrong, or indifferent, guys. It's a business. Once you add those players, those roster numbers back in, becomes more expensive, which was part of the cuts to add for rev share. So there's a lot of questions, not a lot of answers, but there's no match burning news yet. But there are they're trying to work on a plan to phase in or grandfather in roster cuts to meet with the judge's demands. We'll find out more about that next week.
Okay.
But Neal, you know what else? You know what we don't have to wait till next week for? Spring is in the air.
Oh.
And so is the perfect time to upgrade your ride. At Kia of Meridian, we got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for the fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like a K5 or Seltos, we got it all at prices that will make you say, let's roll. Don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia of Meridian. Our fan favorites are built right here in the U.S. of A. with interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models. Fresh deals, friendly faces, and fun rides. Come see us at Kia of Meridian, where spring savings are right now in full bloom. And don't forget to mention the McCready Siskey show when you show up so you can spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So check them out at Kia of Meridian. Give them a call at area code 601-483-6444.
Guys, do you ever want to get out of corporate America?
Every day.
You ever dealt with corporate America?
Every day.
I dealt with some corporate America this week.
I've been dealing with it 2 days in a row myself.
Sometimes you just go, you know what? I'm ready for my next business venture. You know? I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm reading an ad.
Neal's reading an ad.
Reading an ad.
Per attorneys, Neal is reading an ad.
If you are interested in learning about buying a business or a franchise, my friend Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member. Been on Rivals.com for a long time. Andy has. He's a diehard college football fan. He's a franchise veteran. Andy will work with you to help you find a franchise or a business that fits your DNA. He's going to figure out what your skill sets are, what your goals are. Then he's going to put something together for you because he's an awesome guy, fantastic guy. He's not going to call you up in the middle of the night and say, hey, nope. He's a great guy, loves to help others. And he just likes to talk to you about the process, about his services, which are, by the way, 100% free. That consultation, it's free. Cost you nothing. It's a no-brainer for those of you wanting to get into business ownership. And by the way, Andy loves college baseball. College baseball, SEC weekend starts tonight.
Who got tonight?
I think Chase said Texas, Arkansas starts tonight.
Oh, I'm in on that.
Then we got a weekend full of it. Got Ole Miss heading out to Oklahoma this weekend. You got he told me who all was playing. LSU and Texas A&M this weekend. You got lots of baseball. So if you love college baseball, Andy will do an NIL deal with your favorite college baseball team. Texas, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, you name it. He'll give between $500 and $1,000 to your favorite college baseball team's NIL for every person he works with from right here at MPW Digital, which, by the way, is an independent entity owned by no one. Call Andy. He's a great guy, has tons of business experience to help you lean on throughout the process. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. Hey, we're also brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company. You know what they do? They make great beer. Thank God. Because the couple of times the last 2 days, I've needed a beer. And when I did, I went into the refrigerator and I said, where's the Parish? There you are. There's Ghost in the machine. A couple of times I wished I could have just gone and seen a ghost. But instead,
I think you did see a ghost.
I thought I heard one at the house the other night. Got Ghost in the machine. I could tell you a story about the other morning. It would make you howl laughing, but we're not doing it here. No, we're not. Just not today. Not borrowing more trouble. No, sir.
I snorted.
Parish Brewing Company. They make fantastic beer. That's their goal. They have one goal. It's to make awesome craft brewed beer. They do it. They've got Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb. It's absolutely fantastic. On a day like today, when it gets outside at night, when the sun goes down about 7 o'clock, and that you got a little bit of a breeze, still warm. Man, you sit outside, watch the sunset, drink a Dr. Juice, and you think, life doesn't get much better than this. And you might be right, because that might be about as good as it gets. 6% ABV. Just fantastic. I mentioned Ghost in the Machine. It's gained it's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm in Yakima. Listen to this. I was listening to the Seattle Mariners game the other night. I don't know why, but I was. And it's Yakima. Not Yakima. Yakima.
Okay.
Yakima Valley, Washington. All of that, man, they got Envy. They've got Canebrake. Man, they got so much. If you see Parish on the label, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I promise you're going to like it. Parish Brewing Company.
Love it. Love it. All right. I don't know if you saw this happen yesterday. We talked. I don't think we even talked about it on our show. I know we talked about a little bit of it, but we didn't talk about the final. But the Falcons were fined $250,000.
Saw that.
And Jeff Ulbrich was fined $100,000 as a result of Ulbrich's son prank calling Shedeur Sanders.
Be a bad week at that house,
brother. So allegedly, I don't even know what happened, but allegedly, I guess his son got a hold of. He did not secure probably his iPad. I imagine, if I had to guess, that had all the information on it. His son got a hold of it and called Shedeur Sanders.
It's one thing when your son gets into the fridge and drinks one of your Parish Brewing Company beers. It's another thing when your son gets into your iPad and steals confidential information and uses it to become a national joke.
Like, I was trying to think about what would I do if my son did that and cost me $100,000. Like,
well, the first thing I would say to you at that point, I would say, hey, listen, let me give you some life advice.
Appreciate you, dog.
Okay.
I need some.
I'm gonna give you some life advice if that were to happen. If that were to happen to you, I would say, Jeff, here's some life advice. And he's in Georgia.
Yeah.
He's in Georgia. He's in Georgia.
Jeff, listen up.
Jeff, listen, I've got life advice.
Listen up.
I've got life advice, Jeff. First, let me tell you, life advice is presented by Cole Walters of State Farm Insurance. Luckily for you, Jeff, Cole Walters is licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and even pet insurance.
I wonder if you got insurance on Suncom making dumb phone calls.
For the whole state of Georgia, contact Cole. Write this number down.
Write it down.
706-525-7850. You can also find him online. Clearly, people in your house know how to get in online. ColeWaltersInsurance.com. Here's my advice. Don't kill him.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't kill him.
Don't do that. That'd be bad.
Just make things worse.
Yeah, dog. I was trying to think. I don't even know, like, what I would do if that was my kid. I don't even know. Like, I was trying, like, dude, that's like somebody said, all right, here we go. Because you made a prank call, there goes your college tuition. We see you. I mean, just gone. And you're sitting there.
His career is going to be impacted by this.
100%. Like, look, will he become a head coach? I don't know. But I can tell you this. If he was going to be able to become a head coach, somebody's not going to interview him or not going to give him an opportunity.
No doubt.
Not saying he won't get one, but there's probably going to be someone that said, you know what, we should interview that guy. And he's going to be under scrutiny. I mean, how long is it going to take for this thing to go away? And you
5 years.
And you feel bad. Like, I feel bad for Jeff. You know what I mean?
Too.
Like,
I feel bad for the dad. I feel bad for the kid because kids do stupid stuff, and everything now in that generation is about getting on video. They video everything. Yeah. That's one of the advantages that we have from our generation is that we didn't video everything. Thank God. There are so many things. If you think about it, like, you'll shiver. If you think about, like, how stupid would it have looked if it had been on video back in the day when we did whatever.
Yeah.
This kid thought it was funny. It just shows you also that judgment ability. I'm being totally serious right now. When you put your whole life on video all the time, I think you lose judgment a little bit. This was just, he thought it was funny.
Yeah. And then Brent Williams in chat said, Brent, I disagree. Brent said, coach can't be trusted with information. I disagree with that. Do you know how many coaches take home their iPads?
All of them.
And don't, like, lock them up when they go to sleep. I mean, if I bring home my stuff, I may leave it in my bag. I may leave it on my desk, whatever it is.
Well, you trust Brock.
You
trust that Brock's not going to take your information off your iPad.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have thought of anything on there that he could do anything with. I didn't think he would. I mean, like, most of the stuff on there is game plan and stuff like that, and film and shit like that, scripts. Like, there's nothing really on there to do. I don't think he's calling the other team and telling them what we're running. Like, you just don't. It was probably a file that was on there. Look, and Jeff probably might not even use the thing. It was probably something he used during the draft process to get a hold of people. It was just one file that had everything on it. So, but I feel bad for the coach because it's like, I disagree. It's not on. I mean, like, trusted with information. I disagree.
Yeah,
with
no,
that.
I disagree with that too. Austin, thank you for the super chat. Says just now joining. Sorry to bring it up, especially if it's already been addressed. You guys will be my faves no matter what happens. Keep being great.
Rewind.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate that. I will reiterate for the 1,000th time. I have a feeling we've been doing this for a few months. MPW Digital is completely independent. It is not affiliated with Rivals, Yahoo, or any other business venture.
I bet you have to repeat it every time.
It is completely separate. We own it ourselves. Myself, Chase Parham, Jeffrey Wright. That's why it's called MPW. We own it, and it is unaffected, positively or negatively, by any merger of any companies.
Finishing up
is a recording.
Yeah, this is recording. Probably should record that and just put it in the promo. All right, I got a hand raise guy on this for the NFL. Okay, we're in 2025, Neal. Couldn't the NFL get an endorsement deal with AT&T or Verizon or somebody? I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult. And send every possible draft prospect a phone with its own number.
Yeah,
or better yet, let's get them a Skype number.
But you'd still have to. Skype's going out of
whatever.
Business. You'd still have to distribute the number to NFL teams. And so you would still run the risk of it getting out. Look, he wasn't the only person.
Well, that's the next thing I was.
He wasn't the only person who was pranked.
I saw one today of Mason Graham, Mason Graham, defense tackle at Michigan. Somebody called him at 2. A lot of things. It happens a lot. But it goes back to what you're talking about. Is like it's kids trying to go viral, get on video, for whatever reason, and you play dumb games and you win dumb prizes. What you hate is, okay, I think the whole thing needs to be investigated. I don't want it to stop with this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't want it to stop with this one because it's the coach's son. How did the other guys get the numbers?
Right.
Okay, because it happened to a bunch of people. It happened last year to Cooper DeJean. It's happened to a bunch of players.
It happened to multiple
I've
players.
seen 4, 5, 6, 7. Hell, I don't know. I've seen a bunch on social media over the last few days. But
I'm shocked people think that's funny, by the way. And this is where I wonder if I've just gotten old. If maybe I just don't fit.
Well, they just don't. They don't view it as a disconnect. They think they're being being a troll,
but they think it's funny. And
yeah,
why,
nothing funny.
Why is it funny to mess with someone in a moment that is
because
a high pressure big moment for a person and his family? It's a complete lack of respecting how much work and sacrifice has gone into that moment, not just for the player but his family.
Yeah, it's kind of like I always get pissed off, like because they'll come across my feed from time to time, like when the people knowingly, when a police officer's pulling somebody over or whatever, they'll turn on their camera and willingly be a complete dick. That's not right. I don't have to give you my ID. You know, I don't have to give you my ID. Making a damn mountain out of a molehill to get on social media to try to either A, try to be a social media star, or B, try to sue someone for something. Like, dude, just just comply. I mean, I don't
100%.
understand. Like, it's so fucking stupid. The cop doesn't, like, when you get pulled over or you're in some kind of situation with the police, the worst fucking thing you can do is turn on your fucking phone. Just comply.
Mm-hmm.
No cop is coming over there. They're asking for your fucking name for an ID. Just give them your ID. You know what I mean? Like, if you have nothing to hide, it's like goes back to like it's like TikTok, right? Everybody's like, oh, I don't have TikTok because I'm worried they're going to get my information. Dude, they got your information. And what do you have to hide? My wife sent me an article yesterday. TikTok does this. I said, I don't care. I have nothing to hide. I don't give a shit if they know where I live. I don't give a shit if they got my phone number. I don't give a shit if they got my address, how many freaking kids I got. I don't give a shit because if they really want it.
Remind me to put the E on this one today.
Oh, did I cuss a lot?
Yeah, a good bit.
If they don't care because they already have your stuff. It's like, what are you trying to hide? It blows my
100%.
mind. It blows my mind that the guy that tries to be off the grid, that's 67 years old, he's off the grid, wants to do solar panels, he's off the grid because he's afraid the enemy. Like, they don't care about you.
Mm-mm.
They don't care about you. You have no consequence. And if they know your stuff, who cares? And so I don't know. I got a whole thing about that. It just drives me nuts.
No, I'm the same way. If I get pulled over, yes, officer. Yes, sir. Here's everything. I just have it. Number one, I usually just think, hey, they're doing their job.
Yeah.
And in a world where the very rare world where I am mistreated, we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they got body cam stuff.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you can sue them about that. I mean, but like I have, in
a world where I'm mistreated, I'll move forward from there. But I have found that if I'm respectful to the officer, they're usually respectful.
It's usually how it works.
Usually, I've had one bad encounter my entire life.
I've had one, and I deserved it because I was a smart ass. I had one my whole life, and I was a smart ass.
I had one, I didn't deserve it, and I think I proved that I was right.
Yeah, I had one. I got pulled over I was working at Northwestern State, and I got pulled over going like it was like you're coming down a hill. I had a manual transmission, and I would go down a hill to go into the office. And every day I would just put my car in my gear in neutral and coast down the hill,
Mm-hmm.
And the speed limit went from 50 to 35. And so when I hit the 35, I've always been going 45, whatever it was, right?
Right.
Guy pulled me over, and I got pissed off because handed my driver's license, the whole deal, and it was on my birthday. And he looked at it and he goes, "Here's your ticket. Happy birthday."
Oh,
Sat wrong with me.
I would have too. Me too.
And-
That's him being a jerk.
And I was a smart ass back to him. And I was like, "You can write me the ticket. I'll have it fixed in an hour."
Oh,
I was on campus. He didn't like that very much. Gave me the ticket. And when I went to go get it fixed through some friends of the program, I had to write a.
Says you should be arrested for leaving all these beers in my cooler. I wonder what happened to all those beers.
Oh yeah, we took a lot of beer in Chad's cooler. But I had to write a letter of apology, and then he fixed it. I had to write him a letter, like a real letter, because there was no. I had to write a letter of apology for him to drop the ticket.
Ooh, got all of that. He got all of that one.
Sure did. All right. To no surprise, I went back and looked at this. There was a big deal made in the NFL draft about the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. 28 SEC players in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
19 Big Ten players.
So it's 47.
So
of the
by
first
the old
64.
math, that's 47 out of 64. And a lot of people, and then ACC was 7, Big 12 6, and then Group of 5 and FCS total 4.
Yep.
A lot of people making a big deal. And while I agree, the initial look, when you look at that, you're going to think, oh, money, all that stuff. It's about the same number, been the same number for a long time. I mean, some kind of similar percentage. This even pre NIL, pay for play, even pre. So it's a lot of the same. So it's kind of on par with years past. Also on par with years past, since we've had recruiting rankings come out, the average star ranking of the NFL draft picks was 3.4. And I've said this, and everybody wants to. I actually sent you a tweet about this the other day. There were an unusual number of 5 stars that didn't get drafted as compared to years past. It's not hard to evaluate when you're evaluating players. Very easy. We actually, for something else, we talked about this pre-show. But picking out 5 stars, very easy.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even know. Like,
I could do it.
I have said this before on this show, and this is a true statement. When we had my wife came up for our dinner on an official visit. We had our dinner in the stadium on Saturday night, and we were sitting there, and I was waiting. I don't remember who I was waiting on. Mom and Dad, I was waiting on. They were running late from the hotel, and my wife was standing there with me because we were going to sit with them at dinner. And Robert Kimdichie walked through the door. And my wife goes, she knows nothing, love her to death. That's probably why we're married all these years. She says, "Who is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's Robert Kimdichie." She goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "I bet he's pretty good at football, huh?" I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
When a guy walks in, he's 6'5" and change, 200. At that time, he was probably 6'5" and I have like 295 and had a 6-pack. Yeah. They stick out like a sore thumb. And as you saw this weekend, when we saw there were some Alabama offensive linemen that were at Talladega this weekend, and they're about 1.5 feet taller than everybody else, and just when you see them, you know what they look like. Evaluating those guys very easy, but it's really when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it. You're talking roughly every draft. There's about 100 3-stars and about 100 4-stars that get drafted every draft, and then some under that. That's where I always say the 4-star guys and the 3-star guys is where you have to really evaluate and know what you're doing as far as and you're going to miss too now, but this is kind of how we've always done it, is you're looking for redeeming qualities, okay? Whether it be size, speed, like they have to have length, instincts, you have to have redeeming qualities. And then, but once you get to the NFL level, those redeeming qualities, you have to be developed in the ones you were lacking. So I can't tell you over time how many guys, you wonder why a guy doesn't get signed out of high school. Like that was always my favorite thing here at Ole Miss, is like getting every year, fans would be like, "Oh, well, you can't believe you let that guy go to Memphis. He could have been here at Ole Miss." Well, okay. Well, at that time, there were 14 other teams in the SEC. So I guess it's Ole Miss's problem. The other 13 SEC schools didn't offer him either, right? So it was always Ole Miss's problem to the fans. Everybody else had an opportunity to offer him too, and they didn't. But you have to find redeeming qualities, and then you have to make sure that you can coach them. Whatever they're lacking, you got to coach them. Feel like you can coach it, or it fits your system, or whatever it is. And so, I thought that was interesting that pretty much for the last, I went back and looked. I think I went back like 7 drafts. the average star ranking for each draft the last 7 years has been literally it's been between 3.3 and 3.5 for the last 7 drafts. So that's your average star ranking for pretty much every draft. That hasn't changed as well. Staying with the NFL, that really kind of had a feel bad moment yesterday, maybe today, I can't remember. Jordan Travis, Jets quarterback, announced his retirement. Never got to play another snap after his leg injury. He received November 23 that a lot of fans remember it did. It ended Florida State's season. Florida State goes undefeated, wins the ACC, was left out of the playoffs because of the injury. But it was just never able to take another snap, and he decided to. They had him on the NFI list, which is non-football injury list. It was when you have a pre-existing medical condition. Never played a snap. Decided to shut it down and retire. Feel so bad for the kid because he was so talented, man. Golly, he was talented. Do I think he would have been a long-term, full healthy, been a big-time NFL player? No, but he would have made a check for a long time.
Yeah.
Made a check for a long time. And good news is, probably had insurance, those things that all those players do, but he probably got a little something out of it. But just that's the bad part of the game.
Sure.
That a lot of people, and then he'll go away it's just sad, man. And he did it against North Alabama.
Yeah.
He did it
in a nothing game.
In a nothing game. Just a sad deal, man, because he was so talented. And I hate it for him.
That was a bad injury.
No, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was one of those. And when you can't recover from that, that's very unusual, not being able to recover, particularly at the quarterback position. But that's just he just never could get it right. And I hate it for the kid. All right. Last thing. Did you? I told you before the show. I watched it live yesterday, but the Pirates fan fell 21 feet.
It reminded me of that game in Texas years ago when Josh Hamilton threw the ball to the guy that was trying to get the ball for his son, and he fell out and he died. So the Cubs led the Pirates 3-2. I want to say it was bottom 7.
Yeah, that's about right.
Pittsburgh had 2 on and 2 out. Andrew McCutchen, longtime Pirate, was at the plate. He hit a double to give the Pirates the lead and ultimately the win. I'm frankly surprised they finished the game. A fan in right field, about 30 feet up.
It's at 21.
Okay. Well, the wall is 21 feet. He was above the wall.
Oh, okay.
So I think he fell.
Yeah, the wall was 21 feet.
I think he fell about 30 feet. Yeah, the Clemente wall is 21 feet high, honoring the late Roberto Clemente, who wore number 21.
Gotcha.
He fell kind of ragdollish head first. If you watch the replay, there were people last night that were very irresponsible, shocker, saying he jumped. No, he didn't jump. He got excited on the play. He's a Pirates fan. He got excited on the play and kind of leaped out of his seat like we all do in a big moment, right? And he was so inebriated that he lost his equilibrium, went over the side, landed on his head. It's a skull fracture. He's in critical condition. I've heard a couple of different things following some media accounts about his likelihood of survival. I don't know. Prayers that he makes it. But he was apparently highly inebriated. An inning or two before had ripped his shirt off. That's why you see him and he looks like he's in his underwear. He had basically begun to take his clothes off. He poured a beer all over himself. It's where you'd love to think that there were people around him who were like, hey, let's get him out of here. He's way too drunk.
Yeah.
But it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a tragic thing to watch. And then you see the reaction of the players on both teams. I don't know if you paid any attention to the last 2 innings of that game.
I watched the whole thing.
Those 2 teams could not get the hell out of there fast enough.
No. I don't know how you've.
I'm surprised they made them finish the game. I would have let them finish today.
Yeah. Yeah. When I see, I've fallen from 37.5 feet to be exact. I landed on my feet. I couldn't, and he was doing, flips, and it brought back some bad memories. It just makes you, for me, very lucky. You know how lucky you are that you landed on your feet. But the guy, just bad deal, man. I mean, it's not what he thought he was doing when he went to the game yesterday. I can promise you that. But they got to do something where, whether it be there's this thing where, okay, we don't want to raise the guardrails up because of viewing experience. And, a lot of people were pissed for a long time about how they did the nets. They've in the last few years have done
stretch the nets out to protect.
But at some point in time,
I ever tell you about this? I was in Chicago. This was I'll tell you exactly when it was. I'd been in Covington, Kentucky for the Ole Miss NCAA hearing. So this would have been 2017. Yes. This was 2017, September of 2017. Ole Miss was playing Cal on that coming Saturday in Berkeley. And so I was in Covington and was kind of prepared to be in Covington through Thursday. And on Wednesday afternoon, everything wrapped up. And I was like, I'm not going all the way home for one day just to turn around and screw it. But I don't want to sit in Covington, Kentucky either. And so I caught a flight to Chicago. Booked a room in Chicago. Ended up staying 2 nights in Chicago. And on one of those nights, I went to a Cubs New York Mets game at Wrigley. And when you just go look for one seat, you can get a pretty good seat.
Right.
An hour and a half before the game. It was a Cubs blowout. They were winning big. And I was just about to leave. 8th inning. And I was tired. And my phone was people were messaging, and I was not paying attention. And Javier Baez, at the time the Cubs shortstop, hit a foul ball that Tyler went over my head that much. I never saw it. I wasn't watching. And so when people say, oh, that doesn't happen to anyone who knows about baseball, that's bullshit. Yes, it does. Lots of people go to baseball games, and they're not laser focused for 3 hours. They're just not. They're not there to be laser focused. You can say, well, you should be. Well, they're not.
Especially today.
But I mean, even then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big baseball fan. I think the Cubs were ahead like 14-4.
Yeah.
The game was decided. I think it was 7th inning. I was staying for the stretch to sing the song.
Right.
And then I was going to have my head back. I could have easily been one of those people who got beamed. It could happen to anybody. So I was glad they built the things. In this case, though, I've heard some people already going, you got to raise the guardrails. They've been playing baseball there for a long time with those configurations, and no one's fallen. I mean, I'm not criticizing him because we've all been there. He was apparently intoxicated to a point where he literally couldn't function.
Yeah.
If there's blame, it's on him for drinking too much. It's for the people around him for not noticing. It's for the people who served him.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Well, it's like, they make these improvements and fans complain for a little bit, but like I didn't point it out to you because it's been like that for so long. But at Talladega, did you notice the people on the scooters and mopeds driving in that little right behind the fence? There was a big area that the security would drive them down. So for years they would take that thing. The seats used to go pretty much all the way to the fence, and they used to let people get up on the fence. But all the debris and stuff hit them. They backed everything up off the fence, and it's the same thing. I don't know. You go to raise the guardrails, but there are some seats that, I've been in stadiums that it's got to be a concern. I remember in Atlanta, somebody fell into the netting. I remember that, falling in the netting behind home plate.
Yeah.
I've seen some things.
Remember old Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium? A guy fell out of the top deck and caught himself.
Oh.
And people pulled him back up. I mean, look, there's no such thing as just total secure, right? I mean, we all take chances.
The one I'm surprised that's made it this long, that I'm surprised there hasn't been a real issue, is at basketball games, particularly in college, how it used to be just an NBA thing, but the floor seats.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there's that thing gets hairy from time to time too. I'm surprised somebody hadn't been chasing a loose ball or whatever and just pie-out somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have.
Yeah.
But really
where
hurt
someone
somebody.
got really hurt.
That's the one that, and I don't know because I don't sit down there, but I imagine there's some kind of waiver or something you have to sign when you secure those tickets.
I'm trying to think. Ben Craddock let me and Carson sit courtside one day when Auburn came to town with Jabari Smith Jr. Carson really wanted to see him because that was the draft stuff. I don't think we signed anything.
I'm talking about, but maybe Ben did when he secured
maybe
the tickets.
He did. Yeah, maybe he did. I don't know.
I don't know how that works, but that right there scares the hell out of me. Is like basketball, and then, but I think like you can catch, but even like at an Ole Miss game, I'll take my kids a lot of times. A lot of times we'll sit down the baselines where there's no netting, and you can get on front row, man. They get in hot there. And then like at the kids game, a little girl got hit in the face.
Broke her nose. Could have been a lot worse too.
I mean, it's
little kids are not gonna. I hate those games. I remember when I was in Mobile.
They're not paying attention.
No. I remember in Mobile they would have Kids Day. And I always got to sign that damn game. And I used to tell the paper, I'm like, why do y'all hate me so much? I do good work. I'm not a problem. And I would get that game in like late May, right before school ended. Those kids are there, man, and they're not paying attention to a baseball game. They're eating, they're singing songs. The only time they pay attention is between innings when they play the music or whatever, and they're all getting up and doing whatever the popular dance of the moment was, right? The Macarena or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
They're not watching the baseball game.
No.
And some dude in that Bay Bear Stadium in Mobile, Hank Aaron Stadium, did not have a lot of netting. And it was like target practice. I'm like, you guys got I hated those days.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. Neal, did you know that the official RV dealer of McCready Siskey, County Line Campers, are you ready for Memorial Day weekend adventure? The road trip that you've always been waiting for.
Yeah.
Begins right here at County Line Campers in Gulfport, Mississippi, right off I-10, exit 38. I gotta get my guy Rob for this. Are you looking to sell your RV, Neal? Well, we buy RVs, and we also have a free consignment program, and we guarantee to sell your RV within 90 days, or Siskey will wear a Shedeur Sanders Browns jersey.
Oh, really?
Rob, I did not agree to that, Rob.
You said it now.
I did not agree to that.
How about that?
Rob's going to tell me, he's like, hey, we got an RV. See, this is the thing that Rob will get one and just purposely say he held it just to get me to wear one. But if you're looking to sell an RV, they buy RVs and they guarantee to sell your RV within 90 days, or I will wear a Shedeur Sanders Browns jersey.
Rob, see, I want Rob to sell but now,
Rob,
now I'm
Rob,
not. Wow.
Rob, what are we doing? Rob, what are we doing? But you can visit County Line Campers exit. I literally just read, I looked down and read that, and I was like, Rob. He sent that to me last night.
That is fantastic.
That's why he texted me. Rob texted me. He's like, hey, I sent the new reader. Did you get it? I did. I got it, and I copied and pasted it, and I had not practiced going through it until right before the show, and I read the first part, and I just read the second part. Appreciate the show, you, Rob. Visit them all off exit 38, I-10 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Make sure you visit the website at County Line Campers to see their huge selection. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all the deals and Miss Destiny's walkthrough videos. And when you think about camping, think about County Line Campers. We're also brought to you by Kia Meridian, where spring is in the air. And so is the perfect time to upgrade your ride. At Kia Meridian, we've got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for the fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like the K5 or Seltos, we've got it all at prices that will make you say, let's roll. Don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia Meridian. Our fan favorites are built right here in the U.S. of A. With interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models, with fresh deals and friendly faces and fun rides, come visit us at Kia Meridian. And don't forget, when you mention McCready and Siskey, you get to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So get them a call at 601-483-6444.
And as always, we've been brought to you by our good friends at Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Hey, also want a big shout out our good friend Eric at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yes.
Awesome, big help going to Talladega. We had a great time, but Eric was awesome. We got a chance. Eric came, Rob came. Bob came. We had a bunch of sponsors there. Big shout out, and appreciate everything that Comer Heating and Air has done for us, and big shout. So if you need your AC, I don't care where you're located, give Eric a call.
Absolutely.
Give Eric a call. He'll take care of you. But big shout out to Eric and Comer Heating Air for all the help that they gave us for Talladega.
We will have one show next week. It'll be on Monday. I'll be out of town next Thursday, heading to a college graduation. It's that time of year. If you and yours are
Spring is in the air.
Or graduating, congratulations to them.
And then we'll both be at a graduation here in a few weeks.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, how about that?
Makes
me feel
is that
old.
a Friday?
No idea.
I think
Makes me feel old as shit, though. I can tell you that.
This is my last one.
Yeah, it's my first one.
Imagine how old I feel.
Brother, it goes by fast, man.
Yes.
I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No, you are not.
But good gracious. I'm sitting there last night, man, and like he's got a deal tonight we're going to, and I'm sitting there like all last night just getting all up in my feels, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've reached the getting up in my feels.
I got it out of me at soccer time. The soccer thing got me up in my feels for a few days.
Yeah.
Big time. Like just a mess.
Yeah, it's like it's hitting me now.
Yeah. Sure.
So I've been all up in my feels probably for about 2 weeks now. It's I don't know, it's my guy, man. It's the original OG.
Oh, I mean, I know. I mean, I got a kid who's 24. How's that even possible?
We'll see what happens.
Like yesterday I was out running and there were two little girls. Their mom had them out. They were probably 4 and 2. And they were pushing little strollers and stuff. And man, I got up in my feels for a minute. Like, I remember that.
Well, it's like
I remember when Campbell and Caroline were that age, and you think, that's the mistake you make in that moment. You think you're so stressed out because you're like, oh, we got to get them fed, we got to get them to bed, we got to get to the gym, the class, we got to all these. No, these are the best times of your life. These are the times you should slow down. Best things in life, cliches that are true.
Yeah.
Best things in life are free.
Yeah, it's like when little Sam was with Rob and Destiny this weekend. Every time he'd run around, it makes you like I was all appreciate you, Rob. Rob got me twice this week. He had me up they got me up my feels, man. I was like, I miss my kids that age.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And then it's just they grow up fast, man. They grow up fast, and what really sucks for me personally, just being completely transparent, is with Jackson and Brock. I was working all the damn time, so I missed a lot.
Yeah.
And it just, it sucks, dude. It just fucking sucks.
Yep.
Since you're putting E on it, we'll throw that in there too. That's all I got.
All right. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.